Hello. It is Friday. It's Good Friday. So welcome back for everybody that's coming on to paint. Today is the Friday before Easter. So this is the day that we would, I guess we'd say celebrate. This is the day that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. I guess we could celebrate that because that's something we could never do for ourselves. So anyways, it's a wonderful thing he did for us. So it's a day that's what we remember today. And there's always a good ending, so don't let that get you down that he died, because he chose to, and he came and rose again, and he's returning, so we have that to look forward to. So anyways, happy Good Friday. So we're going to do fairy gardens. This is where you guys, of course, you always use your creativity, but this is where you really get to use your creativity. I'll show you some different things that you can add to your garden, and we will paint. We'll draw today, and we'll paint. We'll draw our fairies, kind of like when we did, what did we draw? The princess, what was the
castles?
Oh, the mermaids. The mermaids. Yeah, and the princess in the castle. So we'll kind of use that same style. So anyways, welcome everybody. Be sure you say hello if you're on watching now. If you're watching the replay, still say hello. Facebook loves it when they see that videos are getting good interactions, and then they give my page and my videos a little bit more credit and show it to more people. So that helps me. And but I love painting with you, and so we're gonna get started, and we're gonna have fun today. All right, get that adjusted. Let's get this. You didn't start this, did you? Get that going. Doesn't look like Easter's going to be that wonderful weather here this year. So, tell me what you guys your ideas are for Easter this year. I was thinking about it last night and this morning. I don't want it to be Easter as usual. I feel like it's important for us to really remember what that day is about, because we're not going to be together with all our families, and usually we're so distracted, speaking for myself, with lots of entertaining, lots of people getting Easter eggs ready for hiding and all of that. So it's definitely different, and I don't want to forget and get caught up with binge watching Little House on the Prairie and forget what day Sunday is really about. So anyways, all right, say hello. Oh, Riley's here. All right, Lexus, thank you for having Riley come and paint. And Dylan is here, excited for fairies in a garden. All right, be sure, anybody else that's watching, say hello. So we're going to get started here. So I have my Sharpie. So for anybody that hasn't done this before, if you're watching or if you come on later, so this is my son Caden over here, and we're doing drawing and watercolor classes, and we've done them every day this is completing our third full week of doing this. So we've done 3 weeks plus 3 days. And so we've been having a lot of fun with this. Hi, Tammy. Savannah is going to watch later. All right, Savannah, I will say hi to you now, because when you watch the recording, it'll seem like you're watching it live, but you won't be. But I'll say hi, Savannah. Welcome to my class. So we're getting ready to do drawing with Sharpies. I use Sharpies because I like for us to let go of the need that we feel like we have to erase everything and make everything perfect. When we're striving for perfection, then we sometimes don't do things anymore because we think we're just never good enough, and that's not the case. We're not being judged by anybody, and I'm sure not grading you guys. So it's about learning, it's about creating, it's about having fun, it's about getting to do something that we enjoy in the midst of things that maybe aren't as much fun. So anyways, we're going to use a Sharpie so we're not tempted to erase. If you have a pencil and you're erasing, I'm not going to be mad at you. That's fine too. But anyways, this is why I teach it this way. And then I have watercolor. These look like they're almost brand new, but they're not. I went out and got some of my other ones we've been using. So this is what I use. It's a Crayola brand, which you can get just about anywhere, but these are different. These you wouldn't be able to just go into Walmart, I don't think. I've never looked in Walmart, but I get these online. It's a watercolor mixing set, so it's a little bit different than your normal watercolors. The reason is you will see that there is no green, and I got a clean one because the one I've been using had gotten so colors mixed together that it was hard to tell the real colors. So we have a red violet and we have a red orange color. There's two yellows. These are both the exact same color of yellow when you buy it brand new. There is this, I don't remember what they call the blue, but there's this kind of a turquoise blue, and then there's a blue violet, which is more of a purple, and black and white. So there's no green and there's no red, which is interesting because red is considered a primary color. And if you've learned anything about primary colors, you've been taught that all colors are made from primary colors. But actually you can make red with your orange and your red violet. So in the printing industry, they have cyan, I think it's cyan instead of red, which is more of a pinkish red. So used to do that years ago. But anyways, so we're going, and then the blue violet and the turquoise blue, you mix those together and you'll get like a navy blue. Of course, green is made from blue and yellow. So many shades of green. This is why I like mixing my colors. So even in my classes when I teach acrylic, I don't have green. We mix our greens. There's so many colors of green you can make. If you are by a window and you're looking outside, you will see green in all different shades, especially in the springtime. So there's not just one green. There is so many different shades of green. That's why it's fun to be able to mix your greens, because then you get so many more options. All right, enough talking about paints. Okay, so we are going to get started with our fairy garden. I'm going to show you, we're going to draw a fairy, and let me pull up my pictures that I had to reference here. Hang on, sorry, I got to dig it out on my computer. You know how everything overlaps and then you can't find, there we go, okay. So when we did the mermaid painting, if you did the mermaid painting with, I showed you a simple way to draw your little people. And it's just kind of cute. We don't go too involved in the faces too much. But anyways, and my pen is getting kind of, do I have a new one, Kaden? The only thing, yeah, I do, I think. Is this a new one or is this an old one you stuck back? Okay, so what happens with Sharpies? I don't know if you can see this. So that you see the tip of it, it's a fine point. These are called fine points, but after you use it for a while, the tip starts getting rounded and then your lines are fatter. So it still makes good marks. Don't throw them away, they're good. But if you get a new Sharpie, well, nope, this isn't new either. I can see that tip's not any pointed. A brand new Sharpie, I think we've already used them. So a brand new Sharpie, do you got a new one in there? That's not a Sharpie.
That can be used.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I don't like it as well. Anyways, all right, forget that. Anyways, a brand new Sharpie has a nice, no, you're fine. A nice pointed tip, but the more you use it, the more that tip gets a little rounded. So I was just gonna get that just so my lines would be a little bit finer. But we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so I am going to do, my painting is going to have two fairies on it. So we're going to just start with a fairy first. And I'm going to put her on the right half of my picture, not over here. Doesn't matter. You can decide which side. If you want her right in the middle, you can. But we're going to do a fairy. We're going to do some mushrooms or toadstools, whatever you want to call them. But we want to keep these girls little, and if you want to make them a boy fairy, you can do that. Caden is doing that. He's got even his elf fairy shoes on his. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, Caden. Okay, Caden's just doing his thing because this is like right up his alley. Okay, so when I start with a fairy, we're going to start with kind of a wide U for the face. That's just the bottom side of the face, okay? All right, now, these fairies could have, this is where I was thinking a finer point pen might be nice, but these fairies are going to have wreaths of flowers around their hair. So I can't really do that too much, but I can draw some little flowers right across. If I had a finer point Sharpie, you might be able to see just a little better. So I'm just doing some flowers in her hair. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and put her face on. So we would do eyes. You can either do curves up or curves down. If they're down, she kind of looks like she's just content or whatever. You could put them up and you could put little dots under them. I just put a little itty bitty squish for a nose. I don't do a full nose. And then I put a smile. Okay. She kind of has a sideways smile, kind of a smirk. All right, so now I want to make, before I do hair, we're gonna do a little bit of her body, and then we'll come back and do hair. And we'll do the wings at the end. So her arms, so I did 2 little lines below the head for the neck, okay? This is older, I need the other Sharpie. That one's wearing out. Okay, I need to pick up some new Sharpies next time I'm out. All right, so her arm's kind of up. In her arms, she's slender. She's little fairy. So I made a pretty slender arm.
Try this Sharpie. This one's like a lot better.
Is that one better? I don't know. Okay, so now, and then I'm gonna make this arm kind of going down. Both about the same size, they're slender. Okay, now I'm gonna just do a little bit of her torso. And then I'm gonna stop there. So now I wanna do her hair, okay? So now I wanna come, and you can make her hair like your hair. If I made it like mine, it's gonna be pretty big and crazy. But you can just make your hair however you want around your fairies, behind her little wreath of flowers on her hair, on her head, and then just kind of behind her. So I'm making mine kind of like my hair would be, looking like it's a little crazy and curly. All right, so now I'm gonna put a skirt on her. This is where you can just have fun with whatever. Let's see, I'm gonna put a top on her, and then this is where you can have fun making your fairy clothes. Who was it? Is it Dylan that liked drawing fairy clothes? I remember somebody was like, or not fairy clothes, but just princess dresses and stuff. So if you're on here later, say something. But anyway, so I'm gonna make them look like flower petals. So I'm gonna start with a left one and a right one. And then I'm gonna put one in the middle. And then I'm gonna make one out on each side. And there. Okay, so there's my fairy's dress. All right, now she can be flying or she can be standing on the ground, just whatever. I'm not gonna go to too much detail on her legs, but because her arms are really slender, I'm gonna make her legs really slender too. Okay, and then remember we just did little like oval shaped feet. Isn't she cute? All right, I will do her hands, and then we're gonna do some fairy wings behind her. So actually, let's not do her hands yet, because I may want to do something with her hands. Okay, before we do her wings, let's do this. This is the first thing we're gonna do that's not part of the fairy. I want this, she's gonna be holding a big flower. So I'm making a big stem, because I want to put her hand, I probably should have done it closer, but anyways, I want to make it look like she's holding this stem with her hands. So she has a hold of that. She's got really long arms now. Okay, so now I'll finish the flower here in a minute. And then she could have something in this hand. You could do a wand. Does fairies have wands? Maybe with a little star on it. So I just did a little circle for her hand on this side. And remember how we made stars? We used the letter V. So you would do a V pointing straight up. You would do a V going to the left and a V going to the right. And then you would do a V going down to one corner and a V going to the other corner. And see how nice of a star that makes? All right, now she needs her wings. So we're just gonna make fairy wings. They can look like butterfly wings, but we're just gonna put wings behind her. Double wings. So just kind of however they fit around your picture. So I just put them behind her, okay? So there's our first fairy. Make sure if you guys are on here watching that you say hello. If you haven't said hi yet, I'd like to know who's watching. Even if you aren't drawing or painting with us, just say hello. So I can say hi back to you. I like to see who's around. So anyways, okay, we are going to do a great big flower she's holding right here. So I'm going to make, not a, it could be a circle, but I'm going to make it more of a flat circle, okay? That's an oval or an ellipse because I'm not looking straight on the top of my flower. So it's like an oval. So now I'm going to do my big petals coming out all around this oval. Now I could put petals all the way around on the back side if I wanted to, but I'm going to make them a little bit shorter because since I'm not looking right down on the top, that makes it look like I'm looking across the top and this is the back. Kind of a tricky thing to do, but if you can pull that off, that's awesome. Otherwise, you can also make a straight flower going right on. Okay, we're going to draw another fairy here in a minute, but let's do some other things first because we're going to put some toadstools in here, okay? This is where it gets fun. All right, so we're going to do, we want a toadstool that's no more than about the height of her head right here because I want to put a fairy on top of that and I want to have room. Okay, so we will, we're just going to go ahead and make almost like we're drawing a circle. You can make toadstools different ways, and I'll show you different ways we can make it. But this one's going to be like a big round dome. Okay, and I stopped. Now, if you want to look underneath your toadstool, this one's shorter. Maybe we won't see underneath it. We'll do a taller one that we can see underneath it. So this one, we're going to just curve the bottom off and close it in. Okay. And then I got to make my toadstool stem. And then if you want, you can add circles all over your toadstool. Different sizes. It can be going off the side. Okay. It's like a Mario Kart toadstool. Caden, you're doing awesome. I love your picture. Look at your house back there. Look at Caden. Hang on, we gotta stop. We gotta look so you guys can have some ideas to see where you're going. You wanna stop a minute? You like this, don't you? Look at this. He's got a house back here in this tree house or bush house or whatever it's in. Look how tall this toadstool is. So that's kind of what we're doing. Okay. We're going to, let's do our other fairy and then we can go to town making all the other fun things and I'll show you some other fun stuff to make, okay? JC and Kinsey, yes. Hi, JC and Kinsey. I know you guys did fairy houses outside the other day. Hey, Suzanne. We enjoy this. Are you drawing with us, Suzanne? I know you like to paint. But anyways, welcome. Glad you're here watching. Okay, so this one up here, we're going to do this little fairy. She's going to be with her, like if you're laying on a bed and you have, I was going to show you, but you can't see me. If you're laying on your bed and you got your hands up under your chin. So you're resting your chin on your hands. Okay, so we're going to start with her face. And I'm just going to do it about a finger width above this toadstools where I'm going to make my wide U, okay? So there's her face. You can do another flower wreath if you want to on her head if you want. So you can make some flowers going across here. Kind of big because we're drawing with a Sharpie, so it's kind of hard to be real dainty with it, but that's okay. This is going to be fun anyways. All right, so I'm going to do her eyes upward curves. So I did 2 eyes like that, and this time I'm just going to do little dots under her eyes. And then just a little itty bitty swish for the nose, and then a mouth. All right, so to do her hands, so I'm going to do 2 circles right under her chin, okay? Just 2 circles. And then I'm going to make 2 ovals from those circles, kind of tilted out at the bottom, from under the circles and down to the toadstool. So there she has her little hands tucked under her chin. And then you want to just make a little bit, so I'm coming out from the hand, just coming out to the left just a teeny bit, and I'm going to curve down, and then I'm going to come out to the right and teeny bit, and I'm going to curve down. So that's her torso. You can make a line across the top if you want to paint like that would be skin, or you can paint this all part of her clothes. It's just however you do it. Okay, so we're not going to really see her legs or her skirt or anything like that. We could do a little bit. Let's just do a little bit of a scallop on each side. So I did a little scallop from the middle of her arm down to the toadstool, and a little scallop to the middle, from her middle arm down to the toadstool. Now it kind of looks like she has a skirt on. We don't see her legs though. Okay, so now you can do your hair for this one. So however you want to do it, you can come up from the middle or whatever, and you just swish over. So there's your fairy hair. You can put lines in it to show the texture of the hair if you want. So there's her hair. Okay, so now we can do her wings. So we can come out and do a wing on each side. So there's that fairy. All right, now we get to go to all the fun stuff. Is everybody doing okay? I'll give you just a minute because I know you're probably just drawing away right now. So I'll give you just a minute, and then I'll show you some background stuff. Caden is ready to paint his awesome fairy garden. We have so many places out in our yard and trees with nooks and crannies around the ruts. It'd be great for fairy gardens, but I'm afraid my husband would mow over them. He doesn't really like to have to mow around stuff. But one day I'm going to find a good place for a fairy garden, and I'm going to do that with my granddaughter for sure. All right, if give me a thumbs up when you're ready to do some background stuff, because we're going to start doing that here in just a minute, because this is what's fun, is to make your environment for your fairy. I'll give you, I know there's a few of you on here drawing, and I don't want to get too far ahead. And if you're watching, make sure you say hello so I can say hi back to you. I mean, I see when people join, but I don't know if they're actually watching, so I think it makes you feel kind of awkward when I say hello to who I see joined. If you guys have ever done Facebook Live, you kind of know how it works. But anyways, I'll say hi if you say hi, but I'm saying hi anyways. Miss everybody. Miss painting with you guys face to face. This afternoon at 2:30, in an hour, I'm going to do an acrylic painting if you want to come back and join. We're going to do acrylics. We're going to do a crown of thorns. So it's one that I've done for classes. I think I did it last year for the first time, and we did it on wood. And so, just reminded me I needed to paint white over my canvas to get it ready. But anyways, we're going to do, okay, you're ready, Lori? Okay, so we're going to do acrylic. They can do it on wood. Hi, Sheila. Could you do a close-up? Yes, I will show you a close-up. Thank you for saying that. I'll hold it there for just a minute. Sorry, I know the camera's probably a little far away for drawing some of these little detailed things. Maybe I need to think about that for next time when we're doing smaller details so you guys can see. Can you see it? All right. I'll hold it there for just another minute. And then we're gonna go on. I'm gonna tilt the camera down a little bit closer to me. I know you won't be able to watch Caden and his awesomeness here as much, but maybe you can see me a little bit better. We can still see, you can see his drawing. All right, is that a little better? We'll see if that shows you just a little bit better. Okay, we are gonna go on and we're going to do some more toadstools and some other things. So first I want to do a toadstool with even a smaller fairy. There can be different size fairies, right? Because as far as this wouldn't be really the right size. Oh, you know what? I don't think I'll do it like that. Thank you, Sheila. I'm glad that worked. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna make the side of a tree. So a big human side tree. So I'm just making a line from the top of my paper. And I'm just going down. And then I'm gonna come out like some tree roots, okay? So this is just gonna be part of my fairy, but my fairy environment, but I wanna put a door that you're only gonna see part of because I think fairies need to have trees with doors on them, and these need to be the right size for these girls. So I'm making a little bit of a door. I'll do the wood panels. If we would have thought about this sooner, you could have shown more of it. You could have had a bigger door with a cute little window in it. But there's a door, and then let's go ahead, we'll do a cute little window up here. I'm gonna just do a rectangle window, but let's make it just a little bit fancy. So I did a rectangle. Now I wanna put a window frame around it. So I'm gonna do another line all the way around. But I wanna do diagonal lines for the window panes. Doesn't that look like a cute fairy window? It could even be painted like a stained glass window. Okay, so the base of my mushrooms, so they're not just stopping, I'm gonna put a couple little blades of grass coming up around the base of my mushroom. I may not have enough room for another one, but let's do some other kinds. So there's some other things. We're gonna run out of paper here really quick, but I wanna get a lot of different things on here. So, all right, I wanna make a fern, like a fern leaf. This is really cute in the picture I'm looking at. So I'm making a line that's gonna come up and it's gonna curl in and make a nice little tight curl. Okay, so a fern leaf, they grow and they start out this really tight coil, and then when they grow, they open out. So, and then I'm gonna make one going this way, down here. So then I'm gonna put leaves all the way up it, and I'm only doing one side of this. These little fern leaves. All right, I'm gonna turn my paper so I can. They don't have to touch. Just, and they can be little, teeny. There's a lot of different kind of fern. I bought a fern. I had a couple of fern that I put out and I kept them in the house during the winter, and I lost my last one this winter because I had it out in the studio and I was not in a good routine of making sure it got watered. So it's dead, so I'll have to get a new one. But I did buy one that was a perennial, which that means it will grow outside and it should make it through the winter. Well, I never got to see if it made it through the winter because the bunny rabbits loved it. And I would watch the bunny rabbits go eat it. And then I read if you do shavings of Irish Spring soap, and just like shave it with a cheese grater and then put that around it, then the rabbits don't like the smell and they wouldn't come to it, which it worked. But then once those shavings had like soaked into the ground, then the bunnies would be back, so. But I was thinking I was gonna add, because we have so many trees and shady areas out here, that I was thinking I'm gonna just put ferns and hostas and all kinds of good foresty type plants, but I haven't gotten very far. I have hostas in some areas. All right, so there's a couple curly ferns coming up. Now you could make this stem a little bit wider if you want to go 2 lines, so you can paint your stem green when we do our painting. All right, let's see. Let's do some other kind of a toadstool. So I'm going to do this other toadstool. This one almost looks like an umbrella that's kind of closed. It really does look like an umbrella, but it's supposed to be a toadstool. It would make a great fairy umbrella. All right, put a couple pieces of grass around the base of it. All right, some other, let's do, I'm trying to think where I can squeeze this in.
These paints,
You don't like them? They're not as dark, are they?
yeah,
They're way more.
it's hard to get like the paint out of them.
Even if you get them really wet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well you can use your other ones. Okay, so let's see.
Look how bright these ones are.
If I start putting stuff behind them, I don't want you to get confused with all the lines. But let's see, we could do a little ladybug on our fern. So a little ladybug body, a little black head that I just colored in, little antennas. And I'll just go ahead and do my black dots on my ladybug, so then I can paint my ladybug red later. And that's done. Okay, how about a dragonfly? I'm gonna go ahead and put another toadstool right back here. So I'm gonna do one of these red ones with a big dome. Okay, this time I'm gonna make my curve going up instead of down because it's back farther and you can kind of see underneath it. So then I'm gonna put my stem. I'm gonna make it kind of 2 segments for the stem. We get toadstools and different mushrooms growing out here in our woods and stuff. It's kind of fun to see all the different ones. Okay, so on the other side, so I curved up for that mushroom. So now I want to do the back side because of the way we're seeing it, we can see both sides of it. So now you can see underneath it. Now you can make the little lines that they have. If you've ever looked underneath a toadstool or mushroom, you see all those little lines. And then you can put dots all over this one. So there's a toadstool back there. How about a snail? A snail would be cute right here in the foreground, wouldn't it? So I'm gonna make a spiral. So I'm gonna start in the middle and just curl, 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 kind of like we did the hermit crab shell. Let's see, I guess he's gonna go, I was thinking he'd be going the other way. He's gonna go that way. So I come down and I loop out, and then I'm gonna close that off. Okay, and then I'm gonna make my little snail head coming out. And those little eyeballs are on the ends of his antennas. And just a little mouth. So there's a snail. What else? You guys got any other good ideas on what I should put in my... I was going to do a dragonfly up here. So dragonflies would have a skinny body. So I'm going to do my body first. So kind of a long, skinny body. There's the tail, and then a couple rounded shapes for the main part of the body and the head. And then the wings of a dragonfly are off this, so there's 3 parts. So there's the head, and there's the abdomen and the thorax. Is that right? I don't know. Somebody else. It's been so long. A gnome. Oh, that'd be cute. Hey, Mackenzie, a gnome would be super cute. We do gnomes. Maybe I'll add a little gnome in there. Hang on. Cute idea. Okay, so on the dragonfly, the wings are on the middle part of the body. That's the, I don't remember the parts of insects. It's been so long, you guys. Okay. Long, skinny wings for a dragonfly. And you can do little antennas on there. Okay, so there's a dragonfly. Where can I put? We'll just put a little gnome. He's going to be a little pet gnome, huh? I'm trying to think. We've done gnomes in classes. So I'm going to make my little gnome beard. Let's see, and a gnome nose. Okay, so there's my little gnome beard and my little gnome nose. He'll make sense here in just a minute. And then he has his hat on. So there's his hat. And then, let's see how much detail I want to have. Those little gnome boots. Hey Carrie, how are you? Thanks for joining. Put my little gnome arms. I know this might be a little bit hard to see. So I'm going to hold it up here so you can see the gnome. Now you could do butterflies, you can do flowers, you could do fireflies, just all sorts of things you could do. So I'm gonna make a couple flowers coming out from behind my tree. So I'm gonna make it look like a daffodil. So I did a little squiggly center. Okay. And then I'm just gonna put like, kind of like her little skirt kind of leaves around it. Gotta go behind my dragonfly because he's flying in front of this one. Have you ever thought about making an adult coloring book? Mackenzie, I probably think about doing about everything that I ever see on Pinterest. Given it serious thought, probably not, but being a creative, I want to do everything, but that would be fun. So I don't know. I mean, I have, you know, it's like you kind of got to stay focused on one thing, and then when you get that one down, you can work on another one. So, but anyways, for right now, I like doing this, and I guess we're creating coloring books for kids or adults or whatever. So yeah, that would be fun. Actually, it'd be fun to do it just like this for adults and let them create their own or whatever. I don't know, but it is a good idea, Mackenzie. Yes, being a creative, I've thought about doing about everything. I want to do it all. I just can't. My family still wants me to feed them dinner. There's still laundry that has to be done. So, but anyways, that would be fun. Yeah, it would be fun. So, okay, so let's see, what else? How about some little rocks laying on the ground, and then I'll put little, that looks like a bug, but when we paint it, I guess it could look like a little rock. I was trying to do little pieces of grass around it. I guess it'll be a shadow. We can go on and on and on with all of this. You could fill it all in with grasses. It depends on how much you want to paint. So probably this is going to be enough. My paper's pretty full. So I will paint for just a little bit. We're doing good on time. And so you love this page I'm making? Yeah, it's fun. You should do it with us. But anyways, yeah, it would be a good coloring thing. I guess I don't know. You'll get my wheels turning now. I've thought about making a children's book about dogs. This is one thing I have seriously thought about. and it's on the shelf in my brain, is because we lost a dog a couple years ago. Actually, we've lost 3 dogs now in my life as an adult. But I thought it would be neat to have people submit pictures of their dog doing something that their dog, after he, that he's already gone on to heaven. Oh, look at your sky, Caden. That's awesome. Anyways, doing a book about what your dog is doing while he's waiting for you in heaven. And so like Moose was our dog, and he'd always sit out in front of our house waiting for Caden to come home on the school bus. I'm going to start crying if I'm not careful. But anyways, he'd sit out here in the front yard and wait for Caden to get home on the school bus. And I have a picture of him sitting there. He knew what time the bus came, and he would just sit there. He's a big black and white dog. And I was just thinking, Caden or Moose is doing that in heaven. He's playing, by all means, chasing squirrels and flying and everything he wanted to do, because he wanted to chase airplanes too. But anyways, he will be sitting there like that, waiting for Caden to come and see him. And so I just thought it would be neat if people submitted pictures of their dogs, a favorite picture, what their dog loved most, and somehow I'd incorporate it into a storybook for kids to just encourage them that, if they've lost their dog, that what their dog's doing now, and that one day that they'll get to see their pet again. So anyways, it's hard losing a puppy, a dog, whatever. It's heartbreaking. It's like losing your kids, to be honest. It's not fun. And it makes it hard to want to commit to another one. Yet we still do. So we have a 1-year-old puppy outside now. So, okay. I'm going to come over and I'm going to start painting. So if you're using watercolor paints, the key to using watercolor is to get your paint cakes really, really wet inside there. Not like full of water, but just really stir in that water into it to start getting that paint wet. So it really makes a good, vibrant color. Now, if you want things to be lighter, you would do a little bit more water on your brush. I cleaned this tray off really good. So, but you also realize that water is going to make your paper wetter too, but it will dry. And if it gets too wet, you can always dab it up a little bit with a paper towel. It'll take the water off, and then it'll lift up some of the color. So sometimes it's a good way to fix maybe something if you got paint where you didn't want it. I love yours. I love your sky. Very cool, Caden. Did you paint those leaves? Oh, those are just really light green. Yeah, that was really light. Good job, bud. Can you see Caden's? Let's see if we can. Yep. But on the ideas, Mackenzie, I get so many ideas going through my head. So right now I got my next dream that I'm working on rolling out for everybody soon is going to be where you can come and paint with me on a regular basis online for those who can't be close. Kind of like a membership type group. And so that's kind of where my heart's pulling me right now. So and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff to pull these kinds of things off. So anyways, that's what I'm working on now. If you all want to know what's coming up with that kind of thing, with all my ideas and my dreams as I start pulling them out and making them a reality. If I don't have your email, I am working on updating my email list with everybody over the years. I've had emails from back when I first taught kids art. So if you think I don't have your email, or even if I do, maybe just to clarify that you're cool with getting an email from me, I promise you it won't be more than once a week. I would be proud of myself if I could send out a weekly email with just what's coming up. And it's just some good relevant things, maybe some painting tips, maybe a quick painting video. So if you guys are interested in following my dream a little bit more, you can private message me your email. You don't have to put it on as a comment. But anyways, I always have things I'm thinking of doing. So who knows, Mackenzie, I may do an adult coloring book. Yes. Mackenzie, did you know I'm doing a acrylic painting at 2:30 today? we're going to paint a crown of thorns. So if you have a canvas handy, come join us. So that's what I'm doing today at 2:30. So it's just a freebie one today. So at some point, I'll start charging just a little bit. It won't be the same as coming to a class, but you'll get plenty of fun things to do, and my attention and helping you with paintings. And so it's just a matter of getting all the ideas sifted out of my head and down on paper, making sense of them, picking out the best ones, and moving forward. How old is your little one? Is he a year yet? He is so cute. I love watching all your pictures of him. I have a granddaughter coming, one of my kiddos. They're going to have a baby in August, and I can't wait. We need new fresh babies around. All right, so let's see. Let's get to the fairy, since this is what we were painting to begin with. I need a good fairy green. I think the little fairy dresses, mine is going to be green. You guys can paint them whatever color you want. But I'm going to do this one kind of a lime green. So I'm mixing my blue. Remember I told you how we make our green. So I'm doing a lot of yellow and just a little bit of blue to get a really lime green. So I'm going to come down and paint this little fairy with her little spring flower dress on. March 9th, he was a year old. Man, that went fast. Did you cry? I would have cried the night before we went to bed. I still do that. Caden's my youngest of 8 kids. 7 of them are mine, actually, that I birthed. But since he's the youngest, and knowing that how quick they grow up and you never get that back, every year on his birthday, and I still do it. He's 12 now. I tell him, don't go to sleep, Caden. You can stay up all night tonight, because if you go to sleep, you're going to wake up a year older tomorrow. It was very bittersweet. Yeah, I know. We kind of want him to grow up, and then it's like, wait a minute. When you start looking back and they're getting ready to graduate from high school, it's just, I'm thankful we have Facebook, and the memories is kind of cool right now. I'm so glad that we have that, because, yeah, we have the boxes of pictures, but video is a whole different thing. I have a few videotapes. We never could really afford a good video camera, but I have those little itty bitty ones that you put in a VHS. Well, we don't have a VCR anymore, and so it's not like I can just go out and watch family movies anytime I want. So but it is nice that you can. So Facebook makes that where you can watch all those, and you got a great supply of pictures for your little one. I want my flowers to be lighter. This is where I should use Caden's paints are a little bit more pastel. I can make my colors more pastel. There's white, but once I start mixing in the white, then my white turns colors. But here's some pink. I wanted to put her little flowers in her hair. Let's go ahead and do this one up here, since I have some pink going on. Let's see, what other color can I use with my, get a light blue. That's not as pretty. Add some purple to that. Okay, and I think Daddy wants to go outside. I'm just sure he does. I know he doesn't want more food. What cat would ever want more food? My dad lives with us, and so his food bowl is over by my dad's coffee pot. So every time, yes, I hear you, and you're not hungry. You need to go outside. But every time my dad would come in the kitchen, he runs to his food bowl and starts meowing at him because he wants fed again. So he's getting kind of chunky. All right, I'm mixing colors, but I'm not getting colors like I want here. Everybody doing okay? There's a pretty green. I want some green around. Oh, that's going to town now. All right, since I have green made, now I'm gonna go and just, so what I do when I watercolor, especially if I'm mixing colors, but even if I'm not, if you're just using a color because it takes a minute to get your paints good and wet, you go through and you paint all the things that you want to be that color. That way you don't have to keep changing your colors too often, even though I still do. So like I need to go and do my fern. I want that to be a little darker green. Turn on my blue green. Didn't want to do that. All right, a little darker green for my fern. This is like a slow, tedious kind of painting. It's not like we can just whip it out here really quick. I need to watch the time though, because I gotta transfer over for my next class. And I need a little bit of time in between. So we'll probably paint here for about 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll answer them before I get off. If you want to come back and paint with acrylics, my suggestion was if you didn't have a canvas handy, you could use a hefty piece of cardboard. Just make sure you paint it white first because paint will really soak into it. I think it'll work. It may not be the best. You could take the backing out of a picture that you're not interested anymore. You know how to kind of have the hard backs, or even on the back side of a picture if there's something, you know, like a framed picture. A book cover, if you have a very large, like an old dictionary, huge books. I don't know if you have anything like that handy. You could paint it white. So just some things. If you did not have a canvas at home, but also too, the video will be up, even though it's kind of an Easter picture, it will still be up for the next week. Actually, the one I did last time, Would We Paint? The lemon branches is still up. I have not downloaded it. Once I transfer it over to YouTube, then it won't be on my page. Those long ones I won't keep on my page forever. The watercolor ones that we're doing every day with the kiddos, these will be on my page, but the acrylic ones I probably will take off of there at some point. Okay, let's paint a toadstool. This painting could just go on forever. Ooh, I like how my colors blended into my windows here. That was kind of cool. Let's add some other colors here now. My little stained glass fairy windows. Did anybody do that on their door? Did you guys see that on Facebook where you can tape off your big front door that's all glass? Ours isn't. We still have the old school screen door window thing here. But you can tape off all different shapes with your masking tape and then paint it in with, I don't know what kind of paint they were using. Most paint's going to wash off of glass unless you're using glass paint, then it'd be hard. But like probably watercolor would work for that. I'm going to make some red here. So I don't have red, you remember that? So I'm using my red violet. Putting it over here on my lid. I'm going to clean my brush out and I'm going to get my orange really wet. And I'm going to add that into my red violet. You need some more red violet in there. Get the right combination and you'll be able to make a good red color. You may already have red though. Okay, so now my toadstool is going to be red all around those little circles. Those circles will stay white. If you guys have any questions before I sign off, be sure and say something. Otherwise, I will look for your pictures to be added in the comments when you're done. I love seeing you guys' completed pictures, so creative. So make sure you share those with me because I want to see what you're doing. That's the only thing. That's probably the one thing I don't like about doing live videos is I can't see you. I can't see your painting. I can't hear your voices. But when I do, so the membership thing, I will do it a little different, where we can do. I'm a little concerned though. Zoom. That's what everybody's using for school right now, or most everybody, probably all over the world. I don't know. A lot of Zoom, but I'm gonna use Zoom for painting classes, so I can see you guys. If you need to show me your painting, I can help you with it. I won't be able to come over and help you as far as painting. I know I do a lot of that in my classes if you needed it. But I can sure talk you through things and help you know how to change things or fix things or encourage you or whatever. So anyways, that would be a difference with just this and then having what I'm hoping to come out with my paint club. So anyways, all right, there is my mushrooms. I'm going to do one last thing. Remember, I always make my own brown, and I use purple and orange. Makes a good brown. Just kind of whatever. If you don't have brown, all your colors pretty much together will make brown. So let's do a little bit of my toadstool stem. That could be more white if you wanted it to. My tree. Let's do it with water. And then I'll add some color on it. So remember too, we can paint our stuff with water first, as long as you don't let the petals get too big. This is better paper than what I've been using, but it's from a watercolor pad, and you maybe get like, I don't know, 14 sheets of paper. That wouldn't take long for me and Caden to go through that. So it's a little bit higher price to do that. So anyways, I like doing something a little more medium weight, not the really heavy watercolor paper. So on my tree now, I put water on it, so I'm just doing the colors that I would use to make those colors, and I'm putting them in the water, and then they'll just start blending together by themselves, and then they'll make the brown color that I want. I like colors to show what you make. I like to see the colors that you use to make the new colors when I paint. That's why I don't mix. Well, I have been for this, but like in acrylic, when I do that, I don't do a lot of mixing on my plate. I usually paint with the colors on my canvas and then make them all different shades. All right, there's my little fairy tree. I need to paint my door and my frame around my window, but I need to go so I can do my next class. So anyways, I am doing Zoom. Did you hear me say that? I didn't even look at that. Yes, I will. I did pay for Zoom for just a month because I haven't decided exactly how this is next step and what I want to do is going to happen. So yes, I have Zoom ready to go. I've used Zoom, so it's a great tool. All right, well, lots of fun painting there. So you kids and adults, whoever's painting, have fun with this. I'm gonna get off so I can get a drink of water and get ready for my next class. So I'll be right back here in 30 minutes. If you guys just wanna come back and watch, you can, or check in or whatever. But anyways, thanks for coming to this one. This was fun. I will have ideas if you want to post ideas, and I didn't ask you guys if you have any ideas for next week. Sounds like we're going to be doing this now for a couple more months. So whatever you guys think of that you might want to paint, send me or write down or type in your comment. Tell me what you would like to paint, and I'll get it on the lineup for coming up. So you guys have a great afternoon. Get some sunshine. It's not quite as warm. Have a happy Easter. Remember, Easter's about hope. We don't ever have to give up hope because we know that God has us, and it's all going to turn out okay. We just got to trust him. Jesus is our reminder that we have so much to look forward to. So anyways, you guys have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you. See you later today.